Okay, I think that's working. Okay, I think that's working. right. All right. Let's get to work. Get to work. So I think audio is working as well. If you're not hearing me, or you're not hearing the audio from the scene I'm working on, just let me know. So we're gonna process the scene here. You can see from her outfit, she's a little more at home and cash than her stylish kind of outfit from the previous episode. Her makeup still looks great though. So just working on a gesture here. I gotta work out for the most part. A few things I need to adjust. Most importantly are these hands broken backwards. So let's some better hands in here. Now let's work on this last pose. All right. So make some new hands. I have a special naming convention I use so that all my new elements combine together in the master build, and not overwrite one another. Thrilling stuff. I know, but oh no, double audio. Let's see, I might have two audio. Oh yeah, okay. You can see two audio input things going there. Let's go and fix that. Okay, so I'm hoping that's fixed it. Just let me know if that audio gets better. Also, there's a bit of a delay between what's going on and what happens in the stream. This is a good time to make mistakes in future. Future live streams will hopefully go a little bit smoother. Alright, so back to hands. It's a little awkward with Minerva watching, just because she can see how I slaughter her nicely designed hands. Just turn them into generic sausage fingers. Because I can't draw as well as she can. Alright, that'll do. So I'll just readjust this. Thumb, be a little closer to the previous hand I had. And move this stuff around. Just isolate this hand in drawing mode so there's less confusion going on with the backgrounds and stuff. And make a new hand for parenthesis. I had a bunch of hands from the previous pilot, but eagle-eyed viewers will notice that all the characters have 4 fingers now, and the pilot, they had 3 fingers. They had more cartoony hands. And that weirded me out a bit, and I found it was kind of hard to make the gestures and stuff I wanted with them. So I requested that Minerva give them 4 fingers instead of sort of a cartoony 3 fingers. And I'm happy with it. I think it's a good decision. Pleases me. And I have to spend the most time with them. And I'll just adjust these lines slightly. Again, the thrilling process of animation. Really doesn't quite suit itself to live streaming as much as, say, I think comics or illustration does, because you get a more immediate kind of result there. But you never know. I've had people mention they like watching the way I work in Toon Boom just because they work in it as well and they learn some new things. And I can believe it. I've been working with the software for like eight or more years now, 8 to 10 years, and every production I always discover something new about it. Anyway, there we got parenthesis a hand. And because of the way I've built the characters, when I make a change to one hand, it automatically makes it to the other one. That saves me some time. Not having to redraw hands all the time. So now we'll just get these in place. Probably favor that previous frame a little bit more here. Add some drag to the hand. And maybe the same here as well. Just favor that previous frame a bit. Alright, and I think a little overshoot and settle on those arms is appropriate, so I'm just going to create another key here. Right, and then copy these arms. And just overshoot them up a bit, which is basically kind of shrugging. Let's see, we got up and settle. That works for me. I'll add another frame to settle even further. Love this button. Love this set ease for multiple parameters button. Lets me quickly favor things. We used to have to do it all by hand back in the Toon Boom Stone Ages. And I'll add a bit of an eye pop too, because I'm a sucker for eye pops. So go to our eye peg, and just go ahead and pop those eyes up a bit. Oops, don't erase the peg. And again, I'll have it favor that last frame. So it pops up, settles, settles. It's a subtle thing. Maybe nobody else in the world sees it, but adds a little bit more life to it.
Who am I kidding? Who am I kidding?
And since these are digital characters, anything you do to add a little life is good, because it's super easy for them to look really, really stiff.
Who am I kidding? Who am I kidding? Who am I kidding? Who am I kidding?
Alright, I think that's working pretty good.
I'd let them. Who am I kidding?
Alright, so let's finish that lip sync now. We'll go into our mouth.
Who am I?
And this is always the most thrilling part of animation, matching up mouth shapes.
Who am I? Oh my kid. 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 Who am I kidding? I kid. Who am I kidding?
That works pretty well.
Who am I kidding? Who am I kidding? Who am I kidding?
Alright, and then parenthesis has these nice little dangly bits of hair here at the side. They make for some great secondary action. I don't put a lot of secondary into the show just because we're doing this on such a tight schedule. It's very time consuming, but these are so, you know, drapey, hangy, and they're kind of at the forefront because they're on her head. And I've just got a couple of deformers applied to them, so they're easy to add some secondary to. And it really helps to just, again, help them look a little bit more organic. Not quite so cutouty. Not quite so cutouty. You just add little bits of life here and there. You know when to draw the line, where you can finesse a scene forever.
Who am I kidding? Who am I kidding? Who am I kidding?
There we go.
Who am I kidding? 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 Who am I kidding?
Alright.
I love them.
So next little motion. I'll collapse her timeline here a bit.
Who am I kidding?
And throw into a new pose. So what she's saying, she says,
Who am I kidding? I'd let them both run a train on me.
she's a classy girl.
I'd let them kidding. I'd let them both run a train on me.
So just a little inflection here, so I'll just have her kind of pop up a bit for that eye.
I'd let them
Both.
both.
That's a pretty major
I'd
inflection there.
let them both.
So we'll bring her in for that. So I'll have her kind of lean forward here for both, just to hammer that point home. Maybe stretch her out a bit. Just adjust where the highlight is on the eyes. Now then, she's talking to Hugh, because Hugh's over here. He's invisible at the moment just because I'm not working on him. And I'm easily distracted, so I like to make things invisible when I'm not working on them. So now, is she talking to Hugh when she says this, or is she going to be looking at the TV? That's the question. I think she's going to be kind of ignoring Hugh. That'll make more sense in the context of the episode when you guys get around to seeing it. There we go, just going to reset her face features. I messed with them a bit in the last pose. Now, what is the expression for both ran a train on me? That might be it. And we'll see about getting her arms back to this original position too. There we go. So whenever possible, I like to steal poses from earlier in the animation or even earlier scenes. Again, just we're producing these at such a breakneck speed that anywhere a little time can be saved is super valuable. Alright. I got a bit of a problem here. The artwork gets a little messed up there, so I'll make her a new torso. And just extend this line up a bit. A little bit further. There we go. Just so we can see some separation between the torso and the arm. Alright, so back here to this little accent. So again, we'll just do a little eye pop on this accent, I think. Doesn't have to be anything major. I just don't want her staying perfectly still. She says this. I'll move the features up a bit so it looks like her head's rotating a touch. Again, it's all just kind of cheating and whatever you can do to make things look not digital. Alright, and we'll loosen her arms up a bit here. Instead of just rotating things, I like to put a little skew on it. Just because rotating things, again, is just like kind of a perfect, will give you like a perfect digital rotation. You get a little bit of skew, a bit of imperfection. Again, helps it look a little bit more organic. Alright, so the torso's cutting into the arm a bit here, but this is going to be such a quick motion, I bet nobody notices. If they do notice, then they'll win 1,000 Steve points. Awesome, so we'll Atlantic up. And I'll just steal pose from between those two to have her settle back down a bit. And between that,
I'd let them both run it. I'd let them.
I could have them a little bit quicker. I'll put that on ones.
I'd let them.
That's a bit too fast.
I'd let them both run.
Alright, keep it on twos then. My instincts are bad.
I'd let them both.
Alright, and then from there to there, do a breakdown. So I'll just lay a key down, which I guess you can't see because my noggin's in the way. So I'll just lay a key down here on the timeline. Auto tween. And then favor one of them, so I'll probably favor the initial position because she's speeding up into this. Put down another keyframe. And so this gets me some basic information for my breakdown drawing. Now you can see obviously some stuff's messed up, her eyes are messed up, her arm is messed up there. You know, tweening's never going to give you all the answers, but it saves a lot of time. And of course, tweening also goes in a straight line from point A to point B, and in animation that usually looks pretty gross. You want to throw things on a curve. So I take this breakdown, first thing I do, just grab her torso deformer, drag it down a bit, lower her head as well, and take the final pose, maybe move that up a bit further. Push this head a little bit further down, I think. Cool. And fix the eyes. Alright, turn off the onion skinning so it's a bit clear here, but now you can see if we just follow the arc of her body and her head, so you get more of a kind of a clear arc there. And I can fix the other elements. So this arm is clearly kind of messed up. So normally what I'll do is I'll just steal the arm from the previous or following frame, wherever seems most appropriate. It's going to be the previous frame for this one. But I've also got a foreshortened arm that I can use to help it look a bit more like she's bringing her hand forward in space. That kind of pops off there. So that works a little bit better. And I'll have this arm drop a bit more. Alright, so here's my breakdown. It's pretty good. So what's important about this is that she's kind of dropping her hands down to her knees, so I want there to be like a substantial impact there. So I'll do another breakdown between the last and second last frame. I'll favor the last frame this time. Sorry, went to desktop there for a second. Alright, back on track here. So yeah, I want those hands to like kind of solidly plant on the on parenthesis legs. So I'm gonna grab them, Copy them. Paste them. Okay, and then kind of pose them out so that they seem a bit more squished in the following frame. Onion skinning will help with this. So just going to push them down a bit, maybe squash the hands. Try to match the position of the fingers though. And just make it look like there's a bit of an impact. From the arms resting on the knees. And do the same here. Just drop that. Use onion skinning to make sure it's matching up all right. So it hits, settles. There. So hopefully that'll make the hands hitting the knees feel a bit more substantial. And then I'll just ease out of that. And favor that last frame. I'll do 75 this time. Alright, that's probably my motion. I might need one frame at the start, but we'll see. So I'll throw this on 2s. I'll line up with the audio a bit.
I'd let them both run a train on me.
Okay. So that overall motion's looking good. I just want to add the little details that are going to help bring it to life a bit more. So her eyes, her giant eyes, draw a lot of attention. So let's make them look nice. Alright, so again I'll do an eye pop. So go to her eye on the timeline. And have that overshoot a bit. Have that overshoot up a bit. And then it settles down to its normal position. Alright, and it's a little weird that it just pops right open. So I'll have her start to open her eyes here, but I believe I don't think I have a partially open eye for this eye. So I'll just cheat it a bit and just squash it. So it's a little bit thinner, looks like it's kind of opening. Again, it's one frame. No one's going to notice, except anybody who watches this, I guess. And our pupils get kind of messed up, so I'll fix those as well. Alright, so let's check that out.
Both run a train. I'd let them both run a train on me. Who am I kidding? I'd let them both run a train.
Nice. I like it.
Who am I kidding? I'd let them both run a train on.
Good, 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 good.
I'd let them both run a train on me. I'd let them both run a I'd let them both run a
So, lip sync.
I'd let them. Who am I kidding? I'd let them both. I'd let them both.
Don't want to get too far ahead of myself there, so it might be more animation.
I'd let them both run it. Who am I kidding? I'd let them both. Who am I kidding? I'd let them both run a train on me.
Great delivery from Merle on this line.
Who am I kidding? I'd let them both run a train on me. I'd let them both run. Am I kidding? I'd let them both run.
Alright. And we'll add some more secondary to this fun little dangly hair. Onion Skinny helps with that. You know what else helps with that? Turning off the background. That'll be a little more clear. And I can move them both at the same time. Just again, save a little bit more time. I could probably pose out some of the secondary when I'm doing my breakdowns and stuff, but it's kind of fun to just go ahead and do this straight ahead as opposed to key to key or pose to pose, because that's how I do everything else. It's a little bit of straight ahead animation. It's good for the soul every now and then. It also again adds to that sort of organic feel. Alright. May have done a bit too much.
I'd let them both run. Who am I kidding? I'd let them both run a train on me. I'd let them both run it on. Who am I kidding? I'd let them both run a train on me.
Alright. So that motion's pretty good. Happy with that. I'll save.
I'd let them both run it.
Great habit to get into.
Both run it. I'd let them both run it straight. I'd let them both run it straight. Run it straight. I'd let them both run it straight.
So train's probably a pretty important little word there we wanted to accent.
Run it straight.
I can get rid of some of the secondary, just so it doesn't interfere with my animation.
Both run it.
Go fix it later.
Run it straight.
So for train, again, I'll just have her pop up a bit. Just a little accent. Not everything needs to be a big motion. Again, it's just a little accent to keep it from looking dead. Too digital and dead. Drop the shoulder a bit here, probably. There we go. I might even add a little, just a tiny, tiny bit of squash and stretch to the head, just to kind of accent the fact that it's popping up. Again, it's barely noticeable, but something else that helps it seem a little less digital. And maybe I'll pop her expression a bit for train. That's very excited. Yeah, something a bit more neutral is probably fine. A little bit excited. Yeah, that works.
Both run it straight up. Run it straight.
There we go. And I'll already settle back down, so it's kind of an overshoot and a settle. So what I'll do is I'll just tween between this new pose and the previous pose, and just grab that in between. Tact as my settled position. All right. So, try to make this seem a little less stiff. I'll add some overshoot to her giant noggin. Or I guess some drag, not overshoot. We'll overshoot later, but I'll have her head drag down a bit. And it pops up. And settles down. And just smooth that out a bit.
I'd let them both run it straight up. I'd let them both run it straight on. Both run it straight on. Both run it straight on. Run it straight on.
There we go, nice little accent. So do a little animation with the eyes here. Just to liven it up a bit. So when she antics down, I'll have her squint a touch. So again, I'll just cheat that by squashing the eyes instead of drawing a whole new eye. Now I've got an eye for getting kind of wider, so that's useful. So she'll kind of antic by squashing her eyes here. Then we'll start to come up. Open wide here. And because I can't help myself, I'll add an eye pop there. Can you have too many eye pops? Probably. There we go.
I let them both run it straight up. Both run it straight on me. Run it straight up. Run it straight up. Straight up. Run it straight up.
Works for me. Finish the lip sync up.
Both run it straight up. Run it straight up.
We'll stop there because I'll probably do one more accent.
Both run it straight up. I let them both run it straight up. Run it straight up.
And we'll add that secondary back in on her hair. So it comes forward, forward, forward a bit more, and have it settle. Bit of drag as her head comes back, bit of overshoot up, down, settle, settle. I can make it really springy, but I don't want to draw too much attention to it. It's just there to break up the stiffness of the digital animation a bit. I don't want to become the show where we're paying attention to the crazy amount of animation on the hair. That's good enough. Alright, so how's it looking?
Who am I kidding? I'd let them both run a train on me. Who am I kidding? I'd let them both run a train on me. Run a train on me.
Who is she talking about? These questions and more answered in the next episode.
Who am I kidding? I'd let them both run a train on me.
Alright, so me
Train on me.
is also a pretty important word there, so we'll have her do a final little accent on me.
Kidding. I'd let them both run a train on me.
And she might just go back to her original position there.
Let them both run a train on me.
Yeah, so I'll just steal that last pose, paste it in, and maybe push it a little bit, just so it's not completely samey. So bring it down, extend her out a bit, adjust the head. Might even, again, add some stretch, skew the head a bit, just to give the sense that she's thrusting it forward a bit. Alright. Then I'll match these arms, make sure the fingers look like they're locked. On her knees. That causes a problem there. So we'll bring that down and readjust. Great. And do the same thing with this hand. So there's a little jitter, that's okay. I need to be perfect. I just need to look like it's locked on there.
They both run a train on me. Me. Both run a train on me.
Alright, and their final expression. That one works, but I'm always interested to see if I can change the expression to something else. So it might be good. That might be good. Slightly more sultry eye. I don't know about angry. Oh, that could work. Oh, that's the eye I had. Never mind. Yeah, I think I'll just stick with that original eye. Seems most appropriate. Alright. So, go from this position here, this position here. Don't be jealous of animation. I'm jealous of your background skills. They're so good. Let's get that background back in here. Bam! Check it out. Hugh's sweet living room. Courtesy of Minerva. Based on this simple little design I gave her. So that's from the storyboard. And she just built it up around this kind of really basic 3D build I made. And gave it all the character. I love this little elephant. I wish we focused more on him. Alright. So I'll do a breakdown for this arc. Oops. Forgot to favor. Never like, I don't know, do whatever you want, but I try not to, you know, auto-tween two things and not favor them before I choose it as or use it as a breakdown. Just because I'll put your breakdown dead center in the arc. And I think pretty much every animation book you read or any animator you talk to will tell you, don't put things in the middle of your arc. That's a silly thing to do. It's boring because symmetry is boring, and then also the middle of your arc is usually the fastest part of the arc, so it's weird to see something in the middle of an arc. So you're either, you know, favor the previous frame or the following frame. Alright. Bring his head down a bit. And bring down the features as well, just to make it look a bit like her head's tilting. It's a touch-off model, but it's going to be for literally one frame. And I'll close her eyes as well. I'll give her these closed eyes instead. They're a little fun. A bit more intense than our other one. That's coming together. Alright, and then yeah, now we just go back and check these hands because we don't want them bouncing around. So again, we'll try on onion skinning. And match those fingers up a bit. Again, just enough so they look like they're kind of locked on. That'll do. I feel like I want to kind of mess with her shirt a bit here. So I can mess around with this centering on the deformer. You can see that kind of affects the middle of the shirt there. So I mean, it's best used in small doses. If you do too much, it'll look really obvious. But like here, for example, where she's coming down, it's weird that her shirt doesn't react. So I might just, oops, I might just grab that, drag it in a little bit. See, it adds just a little bit of squash to the shirt. And then it pops back up here in the other pose. And again, this is probably just for me. Nobody in the world is ever going to notice that. Alright, so how are we looking now? Yeah, so I'll just add a few more tweens. And again, favor the previous frame, favor the last frame. Put those keys in, turn off auto tweening, set her on 2s. See how that looks.
Train on me.
Alright, so that's happening way too late, obviously. Bring it on back.
Run a train on me. Yeah, I'd let them both run a train on me.
Okay, still a little early.
Run a train on me. Yeah, both run a train on me. Who am I kidding? I'd let them both run a train on me. On me.
Alright, the movement ends a little abruptly there. So I'll just go ahead and add a couple more frames just to really ease out of it. Merle kind of drew out the performance there, so I can have the animation kind of match that.
Run a train on me. Run a train on me.
Still might be a bit late.
Run a train on me.
That'll do.
Run a train on me.
Nice. Alright, then back in, tweak those details. Alright.
Run a train on me.
Alright, so I go in, fix her eyes. Have them open here, I guess. I'll have them start to close here, just so it's a bit more of a transition to that closed eye. Yeah, it's a bit much of a pop. So what I'll do is I'll just grab that eye and fake it. Add some squash. All right. And pop her eyes a bit. That's her mouth, Steve. Oh, there we go. And favor that last pose. One aspect of Toon Boom I never really got into, or just haven't got into yet because I haven't had the time, is you can do scripting. So you kind of like, I guess, kind of like action scripting in Flash. If you've got tools that you use regularly, or a sequence of things that you do regularly, you can set up a script to just make it run automatically. And I should really look into that for my auto tweening, because I basically, click the auto, or for favoring when I do auto tweening, because I'll hit the settings for multiple parameters button. I'll adjust it to the same number every time, and then hit OK. So that's like 3 or 4 clicks. I could probably automate that down to 1 click and save seconds on seconds over the course of a year. I guarantee you the time it would take to learn how to do action scripting would be more than the time saved by actually using the button.
Train on me.
Alright, so one eye seems to be kind of popping more than the other, and that doesn't look great. So I'm just going to redo that. And instead of like trying to adjust it by hand, I'm just going to steal the finished eyes and then create a new pop based on those. So plant that at the bottom, pull it up, plant this at the bottom, pull it up. Try auto-tuning that. Oops. That looks better. Alright, let's see what we got. Do you like repetition? Then you might want to be an animator.
Who am I kidding? I'd let them both run a train on me.
That works.
Train on me. Train on me.
So, finish up some lip sync.
Train on me. Run a train on me. Train on me.
That is not an appropriate mouth.
On me. On me.
I'll just leave that clenched teeth.
Run a train on me.
Okay.
Run a train on me.
And then secondary on the hair. And that'll be that section done. I think. I'll do one more pass through just to be sure. Oh, onion's getting on. So, up, down, settle, settle, and some drag. Some overshoot. It's probably too much overshoot, but you can always fix it. And some settle. There we go.
Who am I kidding? I'd let them both run a train on me.
Yeah, that was too much overshoot. So I think these are the pegs for those hairs. So if I just remove that overshoot. Actually, I'll just auto-tween. Favor that side.
Me. On me.
That looks better.
Both run a train on me.
Nice. Alright, so I think that section is done for parenthesis.
Who am I kidding? I'd let them both run a train on me.
Alright.
Oh, right. So some guys ran a train on Dana, huh? Who am I kidding? I'd let them both run. Who am I kidding? I'd let them both run.
Oh. Well, there's 4 people watching, so
Who am I kidding?
and I'm just going to carry on with this. What do we got here? We're at like a minute, or sorry, an hour 13. So I'll probably just let this run for another half hour. I'm just going to be working away, doing my thing. If you're interested in Toon Boom animation, you can check it out. Please ask me questions if anything crops up that you're curious about.
Train on me.
or just if you have another question in general, please interact with me.
On me.
This is a lonely job.
On a train on me.
But yeah, otherwise I'll just keep doing this and I'll
Me.
narrate as I go.
On me. Train on me.
I'm going to get rid of Hugh because I'm going to do him later. I'll just keep carrying on with parentheses part of this conversation.
Train on me.
So, Hugh is kind of sighing there in dismay. So, parentheses should probably react to it.
On me.
So, let's say here.
On me.
Alright, and is there an existing pose I can steal instead of reposing it by hand?
Who am I?
You know what? I'm going to set her back to her initial position because I'm messing with her so much. She's starting to get a little off model. I'm just going to snap her back there. Kind of reset her position. And have her look kind of surprised at Hugh's reaction. Those are definitely surprised eyes. My mouth makes her look happy, so let's give her a sad mouth, see if that helps. There we go. That's kind of more of a concerned look. Cool. Alright, so kind of more of the same. Create a breakdown. Put on arc. Match up those hands again. Yeah, animation's a lot of tedious, repetitive work, but I never fail to be pleased when I finally see everything kind of moving around. It always makes it seem like it's worth it. I get to play Necromancer, bring things to life. it settle a bit more. Slowly into this. Add the ubiquitous eye pop. And since this is a more standard eye, I've definitely got a eye opening drawing I can use to help with that transition, so it doesn't pop quite as much. That's nice. That looks great. Cool. Alright, she's not talking, so I just need some secondary on this hair. Ooh, that's too fast. Alright, slow down that secondary a bit. So where does it pop? So it's coming back, coming back. That could overshoot more. That good. It pops forward there, eh? Yeah. Alright, so I'll just add a, oops. Let's add another set of keys there. How's that look? That's better. Just a little too sharp before. Alright, so she reacts to hue.
Oh. Oh, right. Oh, right.
Alright, so we need a more substantial pose change here, I think, because she's...
Oh, right.
So what might she do? I'll pack this out myself, so I'm looking. I'm like, oh, right. Oh, right. Oh, right. Yeah, I might do a chin grab. She's pondering.
Oh. am I kidding? I'd let them both run a train on me. Oh, right. So some guys ran a train on Dana, huh?
Yeah, because she's going to have a nice big open gesture later on probably, so I'll do a kind of closed one now. She'll get a tighten up a bit. She'll bring her hand in to her cheek, and then that'll contrast nicely with the nice big expression later on. So if you have a big gesture next to a big gesture, it's not as impactful. All right. So.
Oh, right. So
she'll probably come forward a bit here into her pondering pose. And we'll do some sort of thoughtful eyes. That might do it. And we'll have her look askance. Yeah, that'll work. Again, kind of lock that hand to that knee, and she'll gesture with this hand. And just because this way the gesture won't be blocked by the rest of her body, it'll, I hope, make a nicer silhouette. Try to be thoughtful. I'm not always successful. And yeah, I'm going to use the foreshortened arm here as well. I'll see about that in a second. Alright, obviously need a new hand. It's kind of a specialized pose. So I take my kind of main hand that I want to base all my other hands off of, and make a duplicate so I'm not overwriting my existing hand. Then use my naming convention. Alright. Yeah, just sketch out this new hand. So I like when this happens, it's a nice little break from the animation, which you can see is pretty repetitive. So I get to kind of mess around here. Alright. More like that, I guess. carve this hand out here. And remember that the characters have 4 fingers now, not 3 fingers. I've definitely drawn a few new hands that have the wrong number of fingers. So pro tip, stick with what you decide, or be sure you decide on the right number of fingers when you start production. Just mess around with this a bit. Alright, so that'll do. It's just a little fat compared to the previous hand, so I'll just adjust the proportions a little bit here. Alright. So I like to try and sketch them in position in the camera view if possible, and then when I do cleanup, go into the drawing view. So I'll just move that onto the underlayer and delete the old hand. And go to my drawing view and tidy it up here. I'll make sure I've got my correct palette and my correct pencil. And I'll just go full screen here. Yeah, the drawing tools in Toon Boom are a little nicer than the ones in, well, the ones in the versions of Flash that I'm used to. I haven't used Flash in a while, so maybe they've improved, but get a little bit more control over stuff. With Toon Boom here. Now the question becomes, how intense do I want to make this? Because I could layer it so her thumb is behind her head, or I could just have it kind of rest like this, and I mean that gives the idea that she's like thinking. I'll try a quick experiment. I'll try layering it. There's no doubt that it'll look better. It's just a matter of, like, is it going to screw up previous animation? So if I'm going to do that, let's see, I'm going to copy, I need an overlay layer and an underlay layer. So I'll do the underlay layer. Oh, why the heck, I'll use the underlay layer. So that goes there. This will be the top layer. So the top layer, I just want the fingers going on top of the face. I don't want the thumb. So I'll just kind of erase the thumb artwork, close that gap, fill it in. Alright, so I've got my overlay layer, which is the fingers. They'll be on top of the face. I got my underlay layer, which includes the thumb. So together, looks like that. Now let's see if we can make this work. So I'm popping over to my network view, which you guys can't see, it's on a different screen. So let me just move this over. There we go. So here's the most terrifying thing about Toon Boom to people that don't use it. It's the network view. That's how we build our characters. So this this tree here represents parenthesis. They're all elements of her design. So I go hunt down our arms. That's her legs. Here's our arms. And then this hand is this hand right here. So this node represents this hand. So I'll try a thing here. Try to think of the best way to do this. I'll bring in a layer selector and then set that to just show the underlay layer, so it just shows the thumb. Right, and then the hand, typically, I'm probably going to regret this, but turn that off. Alright. So I want to place this behind my head. So where's my head module? It's right there. So this composite comes down. So this little line here represents where my head is. If this module here represents my thumb, I want to put it behind the head here. This is all very confusing if you don't know anything about this. I'll put it there. Oh, and nothing happens, of course, because I've turned that off. Alright. Bring in another layer selector. Have that on by default. I'm probably making this harder for myself than I need to. So there's probably a layering issue right now. How can I fix that? Well, I can put a apply peg transformation on it. I'm like 80% sure I'm just going to remove all this. I'm just curious. Alright, so I'm going to apply to a peg. If I push it back, oh, there we go. So I get it to kind of work. And it's also going behind her hair, which isn't ideal. So I can push her hair back on this peg. There we go. Okay, maybe this will work. Let's see. Yeah, let's not do it. Alright, we'll keep it for now. And if this ends up biting me in the butt later on, we'll just get rid of it. It's not usually a good idea to start adding pegs and modules and stuff to your animation after you've already started, because it'll sometimes screw up the stuff you've done previously. But I'm a thrill seeker, so we're going to try it out. Alright, so we got pose A to pose B now. Alright, let me remind myself of the reflection here.
Oh, right.
So, oh, right.
Oh, right. Right.
Okay, so this pose will probably be for the O, or sorry, for the right. And I might give her a little antic, a little accent for the O part, because that seems pretty major as well. So she'll kind of pop up O,
Oh, right.
and then come forward for the right. That feels good. Okay, so she pops up for O. And maybe she breaks eye contact with Hugh here. She's kind of thinking to herself like, oh yeah, all right. I'll try to change of expression as well. Yeah, that looks nice. Verging on sympathetic, which isn't exactly Tess's strong suit as a character, but feels appropriate here. Alright, so once again she'll kind of settle back from this initial pose, so I'll just steal in between for that settled position. Because the less I have to do by hand, the faster this thing's going to go. She kind of settles sideways though, so I'll tweak this slightly. Have her head come down a touch. That feels better. Cool. And then just reset those eyes. There we go. Alright, then tween it.
Oh, right. Oh, right. Yeah.
Just gonna move that out of the way for now.
Oh, right. Oh.
That's a nice little accent.
Oh. Oh.
I don't even have her blink because I like the pupils moving over. So it does snap from one eye to the other. So maybe what I'll do is I'll have one more frame here. And I'll have her antic her eyes by popping them open a bit. And then I'll squash them here. So it looks like they kind of pop open, squash into this slightly more closed position, and then they'll kind of settle up into their final position.
Oh, right. Oh, right. Yeah.
Alright, then we're going to go into this thoughtful position. So that'll be from point A to point B. So we'll get our breakdown. Again, remembering to favor it.
Oh, right.
Alright, this time she will close her eyes. And I'll add a bit of squash to those. That's a good breakdown.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Now, an important thing about this pose is her bringing her hand to her face. So earlier I made sure that her hands kind of reconnecting with her knees felt solid. So here I'm going to want to add a little emphasis to her hand hitting her face. So I'll do that by adding another breakdown. This time I'll favor the final frame. Alright, then I'll grab, don't do that. I'll copy and paste that final hand here. And then just add a bit of squash to it so it seems like it's kind of solidly impacting with her face. Add a bit of squash to the contact point. squash, settle. Cool. And I could probably have a better hand than that. Let's see what we got on hand. So close, but no cigar. The perspective was a little off there. Kind of works. I'll go with that for now. Grab these eyes, push them there. That kind of works. Bit of a sneaky look. I'll give it a shot. I can always change it if I don't like it. Anyway, we'll have her settle into this last position here.
Oh, right.
Here's our overall motion.
Oh, right. Oh, right. Oh, right. Oh, right.
She might snap a little too quick there. Between here and here.
Oh, right. Oh, right. Oh, right. Oh, right.
Maybe I'll just push this, give it kind of a wipe feel to it. So it's going to look ridiculous as a drawing that's staying still, but when it's in motion it won't read. We can maybe get a bit of a cleaner transition here. Let's see what that looks like.
Oh, right.
That's a bit much.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So the hand, I think, is the real problem. So maybe a slightly less extreme hand.
Oh, right. 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 Oh, right.
Works for me. Now we'll go in and finesse the eyes a bit here. So we'll have them start to open a bit here. And we'll do our old eye pop. It's going to be a little awkward for this eye here because they're two different eyes. I bet we can still get it. Yeah, that'll work. And tween it, favor the last frame.
Oh, right. Oh, right.
Yeah, it works.
Oh, right.
Maybe a bit much. Yeah, I could tone that down, I guess. Calm down, Steve. There we go.
Oh, right.
Yeah, subtle's better.
Oh, right. Oh, right. Oh, right.
Cool. Throw some secondary on this hair.
Oh, right. System. Oh, right. System. Oh, right.
Make it a little bit softer there at the peak, I think. Yeah, it pops back a little too quick. I'll try adding a frame. See if that helps. So between here and here, yep. Don't forget to favor.
Oh, right. System.
That's better.
Oh, right.
Alright, then lip sync.
Oh, right. Yep. Oh, right. System. Oh, right. Yep. Oh, right. Yep. Oh, right.
Alright. So let's see what we got all together.
Summer.
Who am I kidding? I'd let them both run a train on me.
Oh.
Oh, right. So some guys ran a train on Data, huh?
A little laggy there. Let's try it again.
Summer.
Who am I kidding? I'd let them both run a train on me. Oh, right.
Looking good. Pretty happy with it?
Who am I kidding? I'd let them both run a train on me. Oh, right. So some guys ran a train on Data, huh?
So what we end up with here.
Right.
So about 160, 170 frames of animation for about an hour and a half worth of work. And slowing down to chat and talk and stuff. It's not too shabby.
Who?
Probably end the stream there. So people to drop by, thanks for watching. If you're watching the recording of this, I hope you find some element of it interesting. But by all means, if you want further previews of the series, drop by into future live streams. Where I'll be working on the show sort of as it progresses, and feel free to chat in the chat box, and happy to answer any questions or just talk about whatever. Anyway, hopefully you'll see this on air in a few weeks' time. Talk to you later.